Hello, guys, and welcome to another Night with Phee right here on the Phee Smee Network. Glad to have you guys back with me tonight. We had some technical difficulties last night, so I was not able to come on, but Manly Mark showed up this morning, took care of the technical problems. The Phee Smee show with Manly Mark is up today. He looked like he just got through out in the dadgum field hunting deer with his orange toboggan on. But it was so good to see him. So good to see him, and I look forward to spending a lot more time with him. He's been quite a blessing to me and the Phee Smee Network. Well, since I talked to you guys last week, I talked to you about our new schedule that'll be coming in December, and then how we'll start phase 2 in 2026. But today, I was wanting to talk to you about since the last time I have been here on Night. My daughter did a Thursday night special, what she was thankful for. And then I had another young lady try to do a coffee segment. Went 10 minutes, and somehow that wasn't recorded or uploaded. So we'll have to deal with that sometime in the future. But things that have happened over the Thanksgiving holidays, I'm just so thankful to my Lord Jesus Christ that we didn't have near the cyber attacks, near the problems that I always am concerned with when they say Black Friday for blackouts. I have been concerned for the last 2 years. And then you have Cyber Monday afterwards. I always am concerned about that. So we've moved past there. It doesn't mean it won't happen tomorrow. It doesn't mean it won't happen next week. But my Lord has given me a vision, and He's going to give me the time to execute that. I'm 2.5 years into it, and before it's over, we're going to be in that anywhere between that 7, 12, 15-year range. So we look forward to spending a lot more time with you guys. If you'll tune into the Phee Smee Network, you will be ahead of the curve, because we're going to continue to tell you what's going to happen before they happen, why you can be prepared for them to happen. But Lane Kiffin, the top football coach in America, left my alma mater of Ole Miss, that is going to the college football playoffs, and he signed with what I think is probably one of the top 3 college football jobs in America. I don't begrudge any man for doing what he's supposed to do, what he wants to do, and I knew his father well, and he comes from a coaching tree, and anybody that's coached Tennessee and USC and been on the staff at Alabama and now Ole Miss and going to be at LSU next year. He's very polarizing, but he was at the right spot at the right time. He was the king of the hill, and he got what the market is bearing at this point. So thankful for him getting that job. Sorry that he wouldn't accept the same amount of money and stay in Oxford rather than to go to Baton Rouge, but that's his choice, and I hope he made the right one for his family. Also, this Venezuela is getting about as crazy as you would want it to be. There are other reasons for us to be down there other than to deal with a narco drug lords, although that is preventing fentanyl from coming in our country. It's also not all about the oil, which oil-rich country like Venezuela should be able to have a standard of life for their citizens that are up to par, and of course it's not. But there are other things at work. I think you would need to go back to John F. Kennedy's Cuban Missile Crisis in Cuba to find out what you're going to find out here in the future. Also, from a space atmospheric standpoint, Africa, that continent, is in all 4 hemispheres, and that's important when you start talking about how high altitude guidance systems. And so keep your eye on Venezuela as we move through. We used to have questions. We will go back to a question format at the first of the year, but it will be with phone calls. So until then, we're just going to go ahead and try our best to move in the direction that my Lord is giving me to go. And so I do appreciate you guys with the change of the format for this month. I wanted to talk to you about our cyber attack hackers again that I talked to you about last week, that are the best in the world, can get into any place they want to get into. So it's important that you realize that if all that digital money is in that account, they can take it when they want to take it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it's a matter of whatever they want to break into and whatever chaos they want to cause, they will be able to do. And if they are employed by a country such as Russia or China or India or Iran or Brazil or any of the Middle Eastern countries that have terrorist organizations, those are the type of individuals that will be doing surveillance and causing chaotic situations with our grid and with our electronics and communications here in the future. So keep your eye on that. I think it's just going to continue to escalate and move on until it gets to a point. And then when it gets to a point, it's going to explode. I talked to you guys for the last 2 years. I've been telling people, and since I've been on air since May, about the National Guard going all throughout the country, that we need to pay them. We need to pay our military, our first responders, our police. You're now seeing what I told you this summer, that you will have people start shooting and killing our military and our National Guard. We have had one individual now that has passed away. Another one is miraculously still living. That's just the start, the tip of the iceberg. A lot of people understand tips, and you get a tip in the stock market, or you're the tip of the spear. But the bottom line is, these are tips that I'm trying to explain to you that are going to happen. You're putting people in masks. You're putting. They have all the finances they need to get all the police uniforms, the military uniforms. You're going to find deception is going to be everywhere, and it's very dangerous when you don't know who the enemy is, and when the enemy is willing to die to kill you. So remember, Phee Smee Networks for information and entertainment purposes only, and all of this it's just from a terminally ill dude that thinks he's had a vision from my Lord on June the 24th, 2023. The problem with that line of thinking is that everything that I've told you so far that's happened, that I've told you about, has happened. And that includes your president, which was, tried to be assassinated twice before his election. They've indicted him. He's anointed for this time, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, whether you agree with him or you don't. He's here for a specific purpose, to put the chess pieces where they need to be on the board. And we're on a need-to-know basis here. But the National Guard and the shooting of our military, our police, is going to get out of hand. And there's going to be mistakes made because of it in a very chaotic situation. So we need to pray for our National Guard, for our military. We need to train more first responders. Remember, on my 1% of 1% rule, if you take 15 million people and 99% of them have no ill feelings towards you whatsoever, and only 1% comes into this country with bad intentions. And if only 1% of that 1% actually get away with what they're trying to accomplish, that our Homeland Security, our intelligence community, our law enforcement agencies, they are good enough to where they prevent 99% of those attacks. That's the 1% of 1% rule from the Phee Smee Network. And at that rate, the law of large numbers tells me that you've got anywhere between 150 and 1,500 separate events that's coming to your country. You've got a third of your country that is got different intentions for your country. They are not here because they love our country. They are here to cause problems and havoc with our country. They're in your food supplies. They're in your water supply. They're in your meat processing plants. They're all throughout the country. And they're sitting here waiting for a specific time to implement their plan. So it's important that we have a plan also. And that's what we have at the Phee Smee Network. I also wanted to get into the pesticides. I spent about 45 minutes today on these ticks. Now, they've been bioengineering ticks in research labs for the last 8 to 10 years. What they're trying to do, these are man-made problems. Pesticides, pestilences, all kinds of man-made, bioengineered to cause problems and to cause them in areas to where they grow or produce your meat and your vegetables. So if you have a lab in the Northeast and you're producing bioengineered ticks and they're causing diseases for humans, then it is exactly what I told you would happen 2.5 years ago. Because pestilence is coming. I was at a basketball game a year ago with one of my students, watching one of my students play. And her father, very successful, and is in several different businesses. And one of the businesses he was in has to do with the poultry and the meat industry. And I told him then, I said, you're going to have real problems with the bird flu. And he didn't know what that meant. And I told him they were one protein, one amino acid away from being able to take that bird flu and transmit it into humans. There's your next COVID. It is the bird flu. And it is genetically made in a lab in the United States, funded, researched. It's always the same thing. We fund you for this research. And it's always got to do with Greenpeace or climate change. It's all got to do with things that are strange to most people. See, this is strange to me. If you're not a conspiracy theorist, which I'm not, or survivalist, this is just strange that people would actually be trying to introduce viruses, diseases that will kill a ton of people. So now that's what you're going to hear over the next 3 to 6 months. That's how these individual cases, and how do these ticks get out in Wyoming with our cattle? I would tell you that they transported them out there. And do you know ticks, they get in on wild animals? Do you know what the wild animals do? They defecate in the forest. It's a chain reaction to where if this happened 1.5 years ago and you're just now getting cases, what's it going to be 6 months from now, a year from now? When again, the goal is isolation for you, control for them. Food and Drug Administration. They approve what you eat, and they give you the medicine when you're sick. And they make money on both sides. That's strange to me. But you're dealing with psychological warfare, and that's not strange to me. Advanced physics projects I'm aware of and have been since 1984, 1987. I understand the psychological operations that go on and why they mentally condition the masses, large groups, and how they do it with information and entertainment. What they're trying to do is to project a certain context. And once they can project that, once they can weaponize that, they can take an individual that's mild-mannered, that's happy and has an attitude of gratitude, and over a period of 12 to 18 months, turning into a negative, road-raged lunatic by the way they're shifting that culture and using those psychological ops. It's amazing how many people and how much time they spend deceiving folks when they could just put a product out there. It's amazing also to me that if everybody else would just leave everybody else alone, let the United States be with the United States, and China be the China, and India be India, and Brazil be Brazil. But that's just not in human nature, is it? So they took you off the farm and into the factory, out of the factory into the technology era. Now they're going to eliminate you with your humanoids and your overpopulation crazies out there that are elites with billions of dollars funding these projects to eliminate meat, eggs. Right now they have whistleblowers on about 4 different corporations in your food business that are filming and what they're doing, how they're making your snacks and chips. And it's nothing like you would think. It's chemicals, and it tastes so good. One of them is my favorite when I was growing up. I could eat a whole bag just for me to find out how they make them and what's going in them. See, sugar was bad enough. They had a big campaign promoting sugar many years ago. They had a big campaign promoting breakfast with breakfast cereal. Break fast. So you get up in the morning and you eat a bunch of sugar. But that wasn't good enough for them. They went to synthetic sugar and artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors. Now they can take a unbelievable meal, take it to the lab, break it down chemically, find a chemical replacement, make the binding agents for the food, set the plates right beside each other, and you will taste them, and people will ask which one is better. One will be lab meat, chemicals, additives, and it will taste and look, and the texture will be just like you've always eaten. Sounds strange. But if you look and see what they're doing, they're painting your fruit in red dye. There's your oranges. They're polishing your apples. Just take an apple, take a little butter knife, and just scrape off the wax from your apple. The meat processing plants that they are putting into your food, the additives, basically a molecule away from petroleum. And that's what you're cooking your food in. So they have you from the food, from the drug administration. And if they eliminate your food supply, you don't have a choice. You eat what they give you. And that's control. And the same people are going to take all of this from you. They're going to give it back to you. They're going to give you your own stuff back. It's going to be called a basic income because they're going to redistribute the wealth. You know, I told you about John D. Rockefeller. Now, John D. Rockefeller told people, I'm going to give them everything to make them sick. and I'm going to give them everything to get them well. And he did it. Now, this United Nations that tried after World War I to become the League of Nations, and finally the United Nations was instituted after World War II. It's taken them 75 years with new technologies, with AI, with the exact thing that my Lord says, that love will grow cold because of lawlessness, and that knowledge will increase, and that is AI. And what took me 9 months to do, AI can do in about 3 weeks. Where will it shift from there, though? And will they be giving you the right decisions, or basically the right choices to make? But the United Nations has put out goals, and they have matched and made their goals. And now, in 2015, they put out their written on their website of their 2030 goals. Now, this is what they are highlighting. This is not speculation. This is not conspiracy. This is what they want, the United Nations want to accomplish by 2030. And I'm going to tell you how they're going to do it. Number one, a one world government. How do you have a one world government? Well, you create a crisis, whether it be with UAPs, aliens, it's them against us. There's your deception. That now you're seeing series done on major news networks about how there's been a government cover-up since the 40s about UFOs and aliens. If you live long enough, folks, you'll find it's crazy. But that's one way. Another way is the Sixth Trumpet War. That's World War III. That's when the angels out of the Euphrates River that will be unchained, and they will kill a third of mankind. Now, after World War III, pretty much anything, they won't want another war, world war. See, they lost 6 million in World War I. They thought, no way we'd do that. Then they lost over 55 million in the World War II. Oh, well, we got to do something. We can't ever let that happen again. Well, this time they're going to lose about 2.3 billion, and I've seen it, and it's ugly. So that's how you get to a one world government. You have a world war, or you have everybody against an alien. So there's your number one goal, a one world government. Agenda 2030, United Nations. Right there. Second one world cashless currency. Well, boy, 90% of all transactions now are done digitally. You've got the devaluation of currency, paper money. You have, as Phee told you, November the 5th of last year, over a year ago, to buy gold. Gold's up 55% this year. Why would I tell you to do that? Not because of the retail market, because the bottom line is, what you folks have got to understand is that the average Joe does not spend $4,000 an ounce for gold. Those are countries buying them by the tons. China, Russia, India, Brazil, Saudi Arabia. Those are Federal Reserves, central banks, and a World Bank buying gold to have a gold-backed currency. So your cashless society is already here. It's just going to continue to shift. They've trained you for 20 years to use that debit card. They used to write checks. They don't take checks anymore. A cashless society with a one world bank that all the central banks from the countries feed to, it's already set up. All they got to do is flip the switch. That part's done. So there's your one world government. There's your cashless society. A one world central bank. If you want to control, folks, control is the key. Everything goes through one bank. Who owns that? You think the world does? The world doesn't own the World Bank. You might want to pay attention to what families are trying to accomplish this in Europe, because they've been at it for many, many years. And for the last 75 years, they've been out in the open. And for the last 15 years, they're telling you exactly what they're going to do. It's not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a coach. I'm a businessman. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. My Lord gave me the vision, and He says in the Word of God, the basic instructions before leaving earth, those with understanding must teach and coach. That's what I'm doing. So one world government, it's the invasion from the aliens, or it's after World War III. That's when you'll see your peace plan signed. That will be or start the last week of Daniel's 70-week vision. The cashless society already set up. The one world bank or one world central bank, they got central banks, they fund wars, they fund huge militaries, they control your monetary system. One world military. Well, there's your United Nations security force. And I'm sure they're going to want, they've already requested nuclear capabilities. So we'll see how all that works out as they have their one world military. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So what will have to happen for that to happen? The aliens or World War III. The end of national sovereignty. No longer will you be the United States. You won't be a nationalist or independence. You'll all be under one umbrella. All under one umbrella. We're going to have to end the national sovereignty. The end of privately owned property. I bet you folks are going to love just having that $10 million estate and that $250,000 house and your lake house and your condo and them just taking it from you. Why would you allow them to do that? Well, that might be some of the concessions that you might have to give up in order for them to be able to feed you or to give you some basic incomes where you can live. And this is not going to happen all over the United States of America, folks. The United States wins. And we're so strong that we support Israel in the last 3.5 years of the wrath of Satan, which some people think is a 7-year tribulation and a 7-year wrath of God that people won't be here for. But that is wrong again, and that's okay, because as things continue to move forward, there's a lot of children of God in a lot of different denominations and religions, and they will come out, just like my Lord says in Revelations 18:2. You will come out from amongst them, and you will endure to the end, my Lord Jesus says in Matthew 24. So as these things continue on, and you see that third temple being built, and you see those daily sacrifices, you're going to know that doctrine is 200 years old and false. And that doesn't mean that the people that told you that didn't believe it, because I promise you, my mom and daddy believed it, and my mom and daddy are in heaven. So it's not a salvation issue, but it is a deception issue. And this United Nations that wants to end all your private property, no property ownership, no national sovereignty, a one world government, a one world religion, a one world military. It's called control. They've been trying to do it for 75 years, and they're fixing to do it. I guess folks will call that a false flag when World War III starts. But remember, this Sixth Trumpet War will happen. I have seen it. The end of the family unit. Oh, I tell you what, that's not satanic, huh? You know, let's just shift the culture to where we start killing over 60 million babies in the United States. And let's take the women and let's reverse the roles and have them go out and to want to be a man. And let's take the man and let's put him as feminine as he can possibly be, demasculate him any way that they possibly can, from advertisements to any kind of social media, to any kind of scrolling. They can create more problems with human relationships for people because people are insecure. They all are vulnerable. You, me, they know the weaknesses. They know you better than you because they have access to all your data. What are you buying? What are you looking at on your phone? What are you watching on your television? You don't believe that's happening? I'm sorry. It's been happening for many, 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 many years. And, you know, McDonald's was spending $500 million a year in advertising in 1975. Advertising works. Marketing works. Promoting works. And sometimes strategically putting yourself in a place to play the long game really is effective. And the United Nations has played the long game with this Greenpeace, with this global warming, and as you're going to find, after World War III, they're going to accomplish these goals. The whole world, except the United States, Israel, and Jordan. That's it. And still, after 3.5 years, my Lord is so good. He says he will fight for Israel. He said he is the God of Israel. He sent his son, Jesus Christ, that was King of the Jews. Those Jewish folks ain't done right. The government's ain't done right since the beginning of time. He loves Jerusalem. And I promise you this, there's a fault line right underneath that Mount of Olives. When he steps foot on it, it's going to split this earth wide open. And that you can take anywhere you want. It is fact. My Lord Jesus Christ will come and he will win at the Battle of Armageddon. Mandatory vaccines. Oh, I love these vaccines. These vaccines are just wearing out my young people. The reproductive organs, the men that are facing baldness and ED in their 20s, the women that can't get pregnant, having miscarriages, all kinds of PCOS, all kinds of endometriosis. Just crushed the thyroid. Vaccinations. Putting anything, just a herd mentality. Got to have it. You know, I was the Latin club president in my high school. Now, I didn't care anything about that except I liked togas and I liked young ladies feeding me grapes. So I took that position basically for those reasons. But I can tell you that Latin is the language for medicine. Number one, it's because it makes you seem smarter. But Latin is also one of the oldest languages. So for 250 years, what was the meaning of virus? The definition of that word. Because for 250 years, in Latin dictionaries, it was the same exact meaning. Virus, a venom, primarily from a snake, poison, sometimes extracted from a scorpion or spider. Now, if you go to the CDC website, or you go to Johns Hopkins, or you go to Mayo, and you look at what the word virus means now, you will not see that definition. So as your culture shifts and as the words and meanings of those words change, they're going to continue giving you vaccinations. And it doesn't take but one, like this COVID. You have to take it. We have to rush it to market. There is no liability for the companies. And now you're having massive deaths, massive problems. Bill Gates went over there with his foundation in Africa and vaccinated a bunch of kids. Now they got more problems too. Isn't it amazing how that's an overpopulated area? Vaccinations are going to kill a whole lot of folks because you're going to just keep letting them inject you. And as far as these RNAs, and if you want to believe that they've got nanobots and transmitters in your body tracking you at any times that they want based on those vaccinations, there's where some of your conspiracy theorists are. That doesn't really concern me because they have you 24/7. If you have your phone with you, you have an Apple Watch, a Fitbit watch on. If you are watching anything on television, anywhere you're going, anything that you do, you get in your car. If it's a late mile car, they know exactly where you are at all times. If it's a 20-year-old car, every stoplight you stop at, they got your facial recognition. Every gas station you stop at, restaurant, they're all connected. And there's not people back there looking. So you're under 24/7 surveillance, not necessarily inside your home, but certainly they know and they can track your purchases, your habits, your wants, your needs, your desires. And when they know more than you do, then they're in a position of strength. So the United Nations plans to get this 2030 goals, and one of them is ending the family unit. The next one is mandatory vaccines. And then it comes to get where my favorite one is the universal basic income. They're going to pay you a certain amount of money. Basic income. Where are they getting that money from? If they kill 2.3 billion on the planet, that leaves 4.7 billion. How many of them's getting basic income? And where are they getting it from? Don't you love these socialist, communist business models from an economic standpoint? Yet taxation in a constitutionalized republic. But basic income. We don't want you to have any dreams. We don't want you to work hard. We don't try to accomplish something or to win. Let's just let everybody get a participation trophy. Let's give them some basic incomes. Let's entertain them. Let's inform them with the information we want them to have. Let's shift their culture. Let's take away their land. Let's give them some basic income. What do you guys think? These are the goals that you can see. UnitedNations.com, 2030. Goals. Microchip tracking for all. Well, there's your beast system that with your cashless society and your digital ID, you're going to have one in the United States, but it's not going to be embedded in your skin or your forehead, and you're not going to be pledging allegiance to. You're going to have a certain and a separate system. So that will happen because you're going to have to interface with other parts of the world during this. Number one, you've got bases, military bases all across the world. So there's all kinds of unique problems to solve in this situation. But when you can, in the UK, in Denmark, in Holland, in the Netherlands, they are already doing these type things on a daily basis. And you've got a big pushback in the UK now because they're fixing to make it mandatory if you want to work. Is that not what you're seeing? Is this one world government, this beast system that people talk about? Are you taking the mark of the beast? There will be people in the United States of America that will take that mark. And they will pledge allegiance. And we're going to have some conflict and some problems. So I would suggest that we prepare. World Social Credit System. Now, folks, this World Social Credit System is going to rock your world. They're going to charge you for carbon emissions, how much you drive. They're going to eliminate you having your own vehicle. How much television, electricity you watch, how much medicine you take, how you act and perform. Because if you cause them any problems or get out of line whatsoever, your social credit score is the whole key to how you buy and get things. Oh, you put in your card or you scan your hand and you've gone over your carbon emissions for the month. Or you got fined for so-and-so, or you committed this against the government, or you're getting docked and punished and points taken away from your social credit score system. That isn't amazing that they have been implementing that along with these 15-minute cities as just test markets. Thousands of 5G towers. What you guys don't seem to realize is the amount of radiation and frequencies and electromagnetic particles you have in the air when you're dealing with high-powered vibrations and variations of frequencies. If you do that consistently, putting your headphone in your ear that's wireless all day, not good for your brain function, not good for your thyroid because of that. It's the same premise as if you go to the dentist and they give an x-ray of your tooth. The lady that's pushing the button to take the x-rays got a little radiation shield on her. Well, you don't have the radiation shield, and you're surrounded in your environment with all of these electronic magnets, neutrons, photons, any type of atomic matter, that will be shifted based on the frequencies and the vibrations. And it can cause serious health consequences. And also, from a hypnotic standpoint, to be able to go under that hypnosis, you're going to realize that it's the same type of electronic pulses that would be entering your body as you're getting from that electrical towers. Those towers are dangerous. People know they're dangerous, and they're not going away anytime soon. So your 5G towers, let's just say that is a way for the world to be connected. End of private transportation. There's your no owning your own vehicles. So the government will own those, and you will be taking that transportation that will be all done by robotics and AI. End of private farms. Well, they've basically done that anyway. See, your Food and Drug Administration told your farmers what they would pay, the seeds that they would plant, what they would pay for them, the pesticides that they would spray on them. So what they could grow, and they're trying to get everything artificial. They don't want you to have fruits and vegetables. They don't want you to have farms. They're one amino acid away. One bird flew away from eliminating your poultry and meat in this country, and that'll be interesting to see how that pans out, especially in other parts of the country. Because I bet you they got a vaccine that they're working on. What I'm really trying to say is they already have it. See, they made it. Biological weapons at its finest. The end of private farms. Businesses owned by the government. Man, they're going to take your business too. I mean, they'll probably give you something for it. It's like they take your property if they want it too. Eminent domain. I don't know if you guys really believe that this could happen. And it's going to happen all throughout the world. But the United States is going to stand strong. And we're going to stand with the woman with the 12 stars. And we're going to carry her out to the wilderness for 3.5 years, 42 months, time and a half of times. That's what we're going to do. But we're going to have all kinds of problems between now and then. So let's see what the enemy, what the other team is trying to do. Because this is their plan. This is their strategy. This is what they're implementing as you're working, trying to live, provide for your family, love your children. This is what they have in mind for you. Travel restrictions. Again, I got a driver's license that's not expired until 2028, and I'm supposed to be dead, terminally ill since 2022. Why am I having to go get another driver's license? Because they're going to start restricting your travel. That's why it's very important that you stay in good with the government in the country you live in. That's called control. So they're going to restrict how many miles you can drive, how many times you can go see your family, or they're going to deduct that from your social credit score, which isn't going to allow you to buy this. That is control. That is your one world government. That is your United Nations that plainly puts for everybody to see what they want to accomplish. Restricted land use. They're going to tell you where you can go. You can't go on that property. You're not going to that park. That's off limits to you. You have to meet this requirement to go there. Control. There's your 2030 United Nations goals of what they're trying to do in your country and in the world. Now, you do know that if you are drinking water, which if you watched me enough, you know I'm a big believer in salt and water. Himalayan sea salt, or Himalayan pink salt, or the Celtic salt. And I'm a big fan of honey. But I've talked to you about the minerals and the nutrients that you're not getting in your food and your water. Do you know the water treatment plants that allow your water to be drinkable strips your drinking water of all of the vitamins and minerals? So if you can drink 4 or 5 glasses of water a day, your body's not getting the minerals and the vitamins it needs. Or you can buy them in plastic bottles with those toxins. You know, my father had a thermos, and I can remember as a little boy him using that thermos a lot. Now, I've got kids ranging from 20 to 29, and then I've got students that are anywhere from 7 years old to 18 in high school, and then a couple in college. They're all using what they call these tumblers, or, they've got the thermos type of looking on the inside. I haven't done a good enough job on researching what the metallic material is on the inside of that. Those tumblers or those glasses, whatever you want to call them. But your body needs minerals, and your body needs vitamins. The minerals people don't talk about amaze me, because if you don't have the calcium, or you don't have the magnesium, or you don't have the potassium, your body is not going to be able to function properly. And over a period of times, you're going to start it's going to overheat. It's going to need a new belt. It's smoking. It's on DEFCON 4 because of the minerals. You need large amounts of calcium. You've got to have them. They're essential for the building blocks of your body. You've got to have them for strong bones, for teeth. So calcium is something you need to have, your body needs to be enriched from. Phosphorus. Do you know what role phosphorus plays with your energy and your thyroid, your metabolism? You have to have those minerals. The maintenance of your cells and tissues are important for those minerals to get into your body and to be able to operate and hydrate and produce energy at a certain level. How many of you guys now, you get home from work and you just have no energy? I'm spent. Or you go out shopping and you walk a mall or box store. You get home and you're spent. You're tired. Just normal energy. You didn't run 10 miles that day. You didn't play 3 ball games. You just lived. And you're so tired because you're not getting the minerals in your food and in your water. Potassium is something that you have to have for strong muscles, for balance, to be able to operate and move. It's very critical to having a fluid balance. And it's something that you're not getting with a banana a day. So we have to be aware of the minerals that our body needs to be able to function normally, and not put our thyroid on DEFCON 4, or not put our liver in a fatty liver state. Basically went from inflammation to fibrosis by the time you were born to 40, if you've never had a drink of alcohol or never put any intravenous drug uses in your body because of the toxins and the acidosis that's in your environment and in your food. So if you don't have these minerals, you're struggling. And people tell you don't eat salt. Your body has to have sodium. It has to, or it doesn't function. You're going to have serious diseases and health issues. Eat your Himalayan pink salt as much as you can. Your Celtic sea salt. Do not ever use table salt. It's not good or healthy for you. But salt, do not reduce your salt intake. Increase your salt intake. Because you need that sodium and you need that magnesium that activates those enzymes. And those are just minerals that you have to have for your body to be able to function. You've got other minerals that you have to have on a normal basis. You know, you've got to have chloride as far as a mineral is concerned from your fluid balance. You know, everybody talks about fluid. For you guys that don't know what fluid is, your body's made up of 70% water. You need to drink lots of water, and you need to have lots of salt, the right kind of salt. But if you're not getting the minerals in your water or your food, then you have to understand that's going to affect your health. So if you don't do anything else tonight, listen to this. Take you some water and put it in a glass pitcher. Squeeze you a couple of lemons in it. A spoonful of baking soda. And a spoonful of your Himalayan pink salt. Stir it up, and you got your minerals for your water. Take your algae tablets, you'll have your vitamins. We can beat these folks. We can develop the game plan to where if you'll pay attention and allow me to coach you, you can live a healthy life. Not connected to the grid, not leaving the house you're in. No matter how small a little home you have or one bedroom apartment or an efficiency apartment, you can take steps to make sure you're getting vitamins, minerals, good food by growing it through hydroponics. And if you live in the country, you need to be self-sufficient. It's so simple to do, yet it seems so far-fetched. You can do so much with magnets and frequencies, vibrations and sound. You can do so much with metals. You can take spark plugs and run deep freezers on them. You can take car batteries and run refrigerators on them. You can do a whole lot to make sure you have food and water, even if you don't communicate with anybody, and even if you don't have access to your hundreds, thousands, or millions of dollars that are digitally electronic. You know, the stock market is such it's a facade of human relationships, and the thing I really love more than anything about it is it's human emotion. And it's actually balanced with mathematical numbers. It's just perception. You've got a 6-inch $1 bill on paper, and it has a 1 on it. You have that same 6-inch paper bill with 2 zeros behind it for 100, and it is now 100 times more valuable than that with just the 1 on it. Paper currencies have never worked in the history of the world. And you're going to find that they're not going to work this time either. That the devaluation of the dollar is why gold is $4,000 an ounce. And why, if you want me to give you some good financial advice, buy gold and silver. Because the valuation of the dollar and the cryptocurrencies and the BRICS new currency and all the central banks and world banks will be trying to move off of your U.S. dollar from a forex exchange market. Well, they're not going to be able to do that. I agree with you. But every percentage point they take away from you, if you end up with 85% of the market share instead of 100, you're losing 15%. And if you hadn't checked your national debt, it's the same number as the number of cells you have in the human body. It's at 37 trillion. I said trillion. How are you going to redistribute that wealth with your United Nations goals? Your minerals and vitamins during this time, your food supply, your water supply, your ability to get off the grid, your ability to seek out different types of medicines, something that doesn't come from a pharmacy but was derived from. See, all of your pharmaceuticals were made from plants, berries, venom, a tree bark, a leaf, some milk from a goat. Mix them all up. This is good for heartburn. Or you can take those same and extract them and then take them to a lab, break them down chemically, make them synthetically, and give them to you. Because that's what they've been doing since 1960. And since 1970, it's a way of life. Doesn't take long to shift the culture. Wasn't long ago where people thought it was crazy that there wasn't but a male and a female. You wasn't having males playing female sports and females wanting to play male sports. You see the roles and how the culture shifts and how they put out test markets for you. Just Cracker Barrel. Oh, it didn't work. Well, we showed them. No, you just showed them you wasn't ready for it yet. They test you all the time. And the amazing thing about them is they don't have to win then. They're in it to win it the long term. And the way we're going to win it is we're going to be children of God. During the greatest evangelistic movement this history's ever seen, my Lord knows how to bring His people back to Him. That's what He will do as He prepares to come for His bride. I do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight to Phee Smee's Network and Night with Phee. I appreciate the time that we spend with each other. God bless you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Remember, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. Night.